And so here's how the format will go. Questions will pop up on the screen. I'll do my best that I possibly know how to do to answer them. Now listen, where the Bible speaks clearly, and it comes to my mind, I will speak very clearly, and I'll let you know. But the Bible doesn't address specific issues a lot. So where the Bible's gray and it's not black and white, I will apply biblical principles to that, and I will give you the best answer that I know how to give. We don't all have to agree. That's what's great about this place. You do not have to agree with the answers that I give. You're free to be wrong as much as you want, and I'm just kidding. So anyways, with that being said, we might as well get into this. So if you have questions, just go ahead and send them into that, but we're going to go ahead and get into the questions. First question, please. Where did the name Ignite come from? Huh, all right. Well, I'll be honest with you, not real sure. It was 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago now. It was in the summer of 2008, June of 2008 to be specific. We started dreaming about this. Started dreaming about planting a church. Really started dreaming about planting a church because I got fired as a youth pastor. I'm just being honest. I didn't move to Joplin and go, I think I want to start a church. It was never happened like that. And so they hired me and then they fired me, and that was whatever. So I was just like, what am I going to do? And I couldn't ignore the calling, the burden to reach people. And so we were just hanging out in my living room. It was me and my wife and Tim. And seriously, I said, let's start a church. And so we started looking at that. All the church names, I just kind of thought that every church that I'd been a part of either had a first or second or holy or something in it. And I thought, I just don't get it. We want to start a movement. I want to do an experiment, and I want it to be a move of God. And so I don't necessarily want it to be a traditional church. And I just, in a statement, I said, if God could ignite the hearts of his people, then what could he do to this community? If he could ignite the hearts of just a small group of people, what could he do to this community? And that's honestly where the name come from. I bounced it off of a few people, some church people. They thought it was a horrible idea. I remember my father-in-law specifically. I look up to him in a lot of ways, and I said that we're going to call the church Ignite. He goes, that's the weirdest name I've ever heard a church called, and so that's why we went with it, I guess. So, anyways, that's the best. I don't really know. I don't think there was this lightning moment. Anyways, next question. Who was your inspiration when you were a child, and who is it now? All right, so whenever I was a kid, I was just a big sports nut, and so everybody, if you grew up in the late 80s and early 90s like I did, everybody wanted to be like Mike. So he was kind of my inspiration. My grandfather was an inspiration in my life. I don't know. Who is it now? I know that now, here's the people that are my inspiration now. The longer I go through this, the less impressed I am with hoopla and the way everybody starts things. I'm impressed, and people inspire me who literally are determined to finish well. And everybody that has a great idea or passionate about something, man, they come out the gates and really they're on fire. But most of the time, I'm going to go ahead and say 95% of the time they don't finish well. And so the people who really do inspire me in life are people that are tough, and people who wake up early, people who show up to work on time, people who do things with excellence. Those people really inspire me. You have to, I'm a junkie for leadership. I read books, consume information in book form on great men and women, entrepreneurs at an alarming rate. I don't read Harry Potter, so I read leadership books, and I watch leadership training all the time. just by people that literally inspire me. People who are out there changing the world. I don't care if I agree with exactly the product that they're putting out. I'm inspired by people's process to finish well and to change the world and leave a legacy. So I guess that's who inspires me now. So you, whoever wrote that, you inspire me. Okay? All right, next question. Do I play Pokemon Go? No, I don't. I'll be really honest with you. I think it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. But most of the people playing it, I'm for it. I will say I'm for it because the people that are playing it, I see them roaming around, are some of the laziest people I've ever seen in my life and never got off their butt to do anything, and now they're taking walks. So catch the little critters. I don't care. You get hit by a car, that's on you. I just don't play it. No. Next question. Do you think the rapture will happen before I die? I don't know. I really don't know. So if you don't know what the rapture is, the Bible talks about us being, it's the return of the Lord whenever he comes back and he rescues his bride, which is the church. There's a lot of debate on this. Do I believe in the rapture? Yes. Do I know when it's going to happen? No. Do the people that say they know when it's going to happen, do they know what they're talking about? No, they're whack jobs. Jesus, let's just take the words of Jesus. He says, no man will ever know when this is going to take place. The Lord will come like a thief in the night. It'll be when people don't expect it. So I don't know the answer to this. I'm not going to pretend to know the answer to this. I know that there's been this movement that's, last 60 years or so, that's crept into Christian ideology, and now the debates are, a lot of people feel like, well, before things get too bad, the Lord's going to rapture us and get us out of here. There's absolutely zero biblical scripture to back any of that up. That's a feel-good thing to get out. Because as humans, as they have a sinful nature and being part of an economy that's prosperous, we are addicted to comfort more than we are the truth. And there's no part of the truth that states that God's going to rescue us before things get too bad. I don't know whenever I read when Jesus says no servant is greater than his master. He was crucified. His closest friends were all murdered, except for John. He died of an old age in a cave. There's nothing biblically backing that up. And so it's a great hope. That's the hope that we have. If you're focused on, there's some people that are that you heard the saying, they're so heavenly minded, they're no earthly good. And they're just, oh Lord, come quickly. And yes, that's our cry, that's our pray. But we have a mission. I actually pray the opposite, honestly. God, just give me more time. More time. I'm so excited to get to heaven. It's going to be a party. It's going to be great. I need to teach a series on what the afterlife's going to be like. I'm excited, pumped for it. I'm not in a hurry to get there. Listen, because the work that we are called to do is so vast and it's so daunting. And I know when it happens, that it's going to be a day of rejoicing for everybody who's in Christ Jesus. But think of the horror of that day, too. And so, God, give me a little bit more time to tell more people about you. That's how I feel about it. But the answer to your question, just yes or no, I'm just going to say, I don't know. I don't know. It actually could. The Bible does say that you won't know the time, but you'll recognize the season from the stuff that's going on. There's a lot of prophecies that have to be fulfilled. Can I just tell you? They're fulfilled. They're being fulfilled right now. But I can't sit there and stay. I mean, the word actually says a day is like 1,000 years to the Lord. Who knows the time or the hour. So anyways, it's the best I got on that one. Next. Okay, so what's the difference between a calling and a fashion? Great. I'm passionate about cheeseburgers, guys. I really am. I'm passionate about Notre Dame football. I'm passionate about these things. Passionate about my family. Calling and passion. I think the real question is, you're going to be. God will use your passion and what He's put within you to do something great for His kingdom, to advance His kingdom. If you have to look at your passions, if the main part of your passion, if it points back to you or your glory or your success, you probably need to rethink about that. It needs to be focused on God and other people. I'll say that much. This is a tricky one because there's a lot of people who God's given them passion and they haven't figured out how to make that into their calling. There's a connection there. There's a difference, but there is a connection between passion and callings. I'm passionate about rescues. I am, not animals. I know a lot of you are passionate about it. I see your Facebook, and that's great. I'm passionate about helping people who literally are down and out. And that's why, hey, if there's a natural disaster that's going to happen in this country and it's on a large enough scale, I'm there. You just won't see me for a while. I'm just going. I'm passionate about that. How did that get turned into a calling? Well, I've never seen people more down and out than you lose hope. And you do not have hope whenever you're without Christ. And God rescued me in such a bizarre, violent almost way that I got addicted to that. I was like, man, this is real. It happened to me and it can happen to everybody else. Because listen, I didn't go into this. I didn't take speech. I was scared to death. I don't like crowds. I was never comfortable. I'd never spoken in front of groups of people before in my entire life. So it's overcoming a lot of fears. But make sure it points to furthering God's kingdom. And if it points to furthering God's kingdom, and you'll know it when it happens. You'll never be 100%. If you wait till you're 100% and go, I know, you'll know, but you won't know if it works. The only way you're ever going to find out if it works is to take a faith risk and to jump out. As soon as you jump out, you'll find out. Oh, you'll know quick whether you drown or you don't. And so I just encourage more people to discover their gifts. Because whenever you're operating in your gift, you become passionate about it. And that'll turn into a calling. And so that's a long answer for a seemingly simple question, but it's not really that simple. So anyways, I hope that helps. Next question. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on the presidential election. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I can say. I mean, if you ask me a specific question, I will answer it. Because nothing really. Okay, here's what I think. And this is my opinion. Listen, there's some stuff that divides people, and there is nothing. I want to be a unifier around the gospel of Jesus Christ. Here's what I think about the election, though. I don't believe that. I believe that regardless of who becomes our next president, it will not dictate God's will. God's will prevail. Am I more comfortable? I'm going to be really honest. I know there's this third-party stuff rising up out there, and it's great. Here's what I'll tell you about the election. If you're thinking about staying home, don't. If you can't get behind any of the two main party candidates, find somebody that you can. Write in somebody. Exercise your right as an American to vote, though. Don't be that guy. There's so many people, especially Christians right now, they're going, well, I can't choose lesser of two evils. Listen, you think you're original in that? I've heard that every election. Every single election. It has, last time, Christians weren't going to vote because the nominee who they wanted to get behind was a Mormon. I'm like, get over yourself. This is a government call, not a Christianity type. We're not electing our Pope. You know what I'm saying? This is our president. Here's how I feel. I shouldn't go off on this rant, but I'm going to. If you're looking to the government to dictate morals in your life, you're looking at the wrong people. I think the government should stay out of families. It should stay out of our morality. Come from Washington, D.C.? Are you serious? You would have better luck if it came from hell's back porch. You know what I'm saying? So, I just don't get it. I don't get it. How I personally feel about it, I'm not going to tell you who I elected, but as a guy who proudly served our country, I'll tell you who I ain't voting for. And we can blame whoever we want, but I'm not going to vote for anybody that put fellow soldiers' lives on the line and lie to their families about it. I'm just not going to do that. That's a personal opinion, and you can disagree with that you want, because if you disagree with it, you probably haven't served the country, is what I'm saying. So that's how passionate I get about some of this, but don't just stay home and not vote. America is a great country. I use the word great. Really is. A lot of people around this world don't have the right to vote. You have the right, do it. Or don't gripe about it. Don't gripe about none of it. So, anyways, kind of my thoughts on it. Hope that helps. I'm not even sure, you weren't even looking for help. You were just wanting to know. So, that's kind of how I feel about it. Anyways, next question. Let's get off that one. Should a husband feel bad for providing for his family rather than spending a lot of time with them? Whoa, this is a loaded question. Should a husband feel bad for providing for his family? Let me just stop right there. No. That first part, no. But then it gets tricky. Rather than spending a lot of time with him. So I'm not sure. Could be a husband trying to justify not spending a lot of time with his family, or it could be a wife sitting in this question, trying to see, guilt trip would be a great word. But listen, here's what I'll say. Providing for your family, I'm a traditional guy. I'm just a traditional guy. Guys provide for their families financially. You just do it. Do whatever it takes. I get there's a whole movement of stay-at-home dads and all this kind of stuff. I understand it happens. It just ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I would go. I don't think I'd feel really good if Kenzie was out working and I'm just sitting at home playing Xbox with the kids, or something like that. Anyways, so you're required, I think, as a man we have certain body parts, I'm thinking of two of them in particular, that to lead and to provide, and that's just part of being a man. And so I feel like that's really important mandate, especially as a husband, because you elected to marry somebody, you promised to take care of them. So that's good. I'm thankful for all the men that do. But if that's your excuse for not spending any time with your kids, listen, your kids would rather have a father in their life than they would new tennis shoes. You can't ignore your wife. You're a team in this. It sounds like whoever sent in this question, you got a very divided household. One feels one way, one feels the other. You'd be better if you were a team and agreed to some things. Expectations. Money's not everything. You do need it. Listen, if the wife in this situation wants to go barefoot and she's growing hair out of her armpits and she's a hippie and rather live in a tent, it's a problem. Go out and make money, pay for razors and electricity and stuff. But listen, here's what I know about. I was raised primarily by my father. He was an over-the-road truck driver. He was gone a lot, and he was doing it to provide. But I got to a certain point, and listen, I just didn't have a relationship with him because I never saw him. It made it difficult, and I know he was in a bad spot. We have a great relationship now, but I'm very conscious of this with my kids. Dads, it doesn't matter. I understand the dad role. If you get this whole macho thing where, oh, the women are the ones that do everything, then you're going to miss out on your kids' life. And you're going to miss out having a partner in life. Just get involved. You're way more capable. I know a lot of people will sit there and say, my schedule won't allow it to happen. Listen, I know there's guys that really work hard. Literally in this room, they're putting in 80 hours a week. 80. It's still no excuse not to be engaged when you're there. I always tell people, sleep when you're dead. You have a family, the kids aren't going to be around for very long. Invest in them while you have a chance. But don't use that as an excuse to be not a provider. That's kind of, anyway, next question. Hope that helps. Is it wrong for me to go to a bar with friends and have a few drinks? I don't know. Who are you? No, I'm going to say no, I guess. I'm going to say this is a trick question. Because this one time I went to a bar with a few friends, and it didn't seem to be okay. There's a lot of responsibility that comes along with this. It's one of these things in life that I'm not going to sit up here and beat the, oh, if you love Jesus, you have to abstain from alcohol. I'm not. Paul says, although all things are permissible for me, not all things are beneficial. So I would ask you, I don't know, what do you, first of all, let's define a few drinks, pal. Second of all, who are your friends? I mean, this opens up a whole can of worms here. Third of all, why do you think it needs to be at a bar? Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't know how it is across these state lines that direction, but here, if you're free and over 21, you can buy whatever you want, and you can take it to your house. If it involves you getting behind the wheel, can I just go ahead and say, don't? After you've had a few of these drinks? So I'm not going to say it's wrong for you, but I don't know. It could be very wrong for you. So the answer to this question is yes and no. And so you're not going to get a whole lot of judgment. This is a personal responsibility thing. With great freedom comes great responsibility. This is a grow up type question, I think. Is it wrong biblically? No, I don't see any of that. Actually, Jesus' first miracle was he went to a very large party. They say it's a wedding, and it's not horrible weddings like we do here. The weddings here in America, they're horrible. I mean, they really are. They're a lot of fun for like a couple people, but everybody else just has to agonize and get through that. Are you serious? They're doing sand together, and it's sand and candles and toe painting and all kinds of weird stuff and glue smearing. But listen, everybody that attends these things really want to go for one reason, the reception. Are you having a great reception? You have a great wedding. You have a great attendance. But they're showing up for the party. Everybody showed up to the party back in Cana and Galilee back in the day. The weddings then didn't last. Like, if you've ever come to some of my weddings, my record's 4 minutes, 23 seconds. Those receptions are usually the best ones, you know. But back then, the weddings would last anywhere from 3 to 7 days. It was very much a disgrace for the people for the bridegroom to run out of wine. Not grape juice, wine. And so It was brought to Jesus' attention. Didn't want to bring shame on the family. He could have made enough to suffice. The Bible says he had 6 jars, wanted the servants to fill them up. They filled them up to the brim. Each one would hold about 30 gallons of water. So he made 180 gallons of wine. These people were there to party. It's in the Bible. So I'm going to say, if you want, it's not wrong for you to have drinks with friends if you want. But what does it lead to in your life? And there's so many other roads that we don't need to get down right now. Don't have time for it. Next question. What advice would you give to teens when it comes to peer pressure? Real quickly here, I want to move on, kids. The people in your life that are pressuring you, they won't matter at all soon. It does not matter. I've got a 6-year-old son. This week, he was obsessed with, because all of his new buddies, I think they're gang members, by the way, he's 6 and says, Dad, take me to get new shoes. I need Jordans. I'm like, look them up online, $190. I didn't know 6-year-olds could smoke crack, but apparently he was doing it. I said, you're not getting that. It doesn't matter what you wear or perform or how. Some of you are awkward. I was an awkward kid. I was an awkward kid. I got picked on a little bit. It doesn't matter. You know how many people are in my life from that area in my life? 0. None. I know it's awesome. We're going to be friends forever. No, you won't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't. If somebody's pressuring you, punch them in the nose, kick them and move on. That's my deal. If you get kicked out of school, don't use me as an excuse. So next question. We got time for like 1, maybe 2 more. As a pastor, you ever get criticized for your tattoos? Yeah, used to a lot until I got criticized for things that made tattoos look like child's play. And so I've gotten criticized for my tattoos before. Again, I don't care. Say what you want about me. This is a free country. It's a free church. You don't like me, don't come. That's great. You don't like my tattoos? I don't like your lack of them, Anyways, next question. Okay. What is the difference between churches that are Baptist, Catholic, Methodist, etc.? Okay, we will end on this question. Okay, a lot and not much. Here's what's really sad. We have, these things are called denominations. I know like the hardcore people are going to be like, Catholic's not a denomination, they're going to hell. Listen, all right, you're from a certain sect of it. Here's the deal. Do you love Jesus? Do you believe that Jesus is the only way for eternal life? Do you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? All of these 3 that's mentioned, you can go down the line. Assembly of God, Lutheran, Episcopalian, you can go a lot of different ways. There's a lot of people, all these people believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and died for the forgiveness of your sins. Denominations comes from the Latin word denamos. Denamos. You look it up. It literally means divided name. That's what it means. What happened is there was a group of people in a room like this. Everybody was like, yeah, Team Jesus, let's go out and change the world. It was happening, and then politics got involved. They wanted to know certain things. You go into different cultures, different things mattered to different people. Well, then, Peter and Paul had a massive fight. Peter seemed to be pandering to the Greeks. They were having arguments over things like circumcision, whether or not women could speak in the church. So the church, from a very early point, began to split a little bit. And now it seems like if you have a difference of opinion, that's how we get all of these different denominations. It's insanity. And we let titles and labels and divide us instead of uniting us under Jesus. Can I tell you something? Say, what kind of church is this? People, I hate that type of question because it's a trick question. What do you mean, what type of church is this? We love Jesus. Yeah, but what are you? Are you like a Baptist? Are you non-denominational? I would love to say I'm non-denominational, but that's a denomination. Why are we focused on this? You want to know what the hardcore beliefs are? Look, we believe that sin is the problem and Jesus is the answer. Hell is very, very hot. And everybody apart from the hope of Jesus Christ is lost. That's it. There's a lot of other stuff that goes with it, but all of these, they seem to have all that in common. Now, there's people who's going to get into where do you stand on social issues and all this. I don't know. These aren't governments. Governments dictate laws and this kind of stuff, and it seems like we have these things becoming governments, and they are their own governing bodies. One's even up there because their big difference is they're famous for grape juice being used as communion instead of wine. The guy's last name was Welch, by the way. That's where we get Welch's grape juice, and that's how he got really rich. But that's beside the point. There's people say, well, Catholic, that's the one that's what Peter started. That's the true church. Baptist, everybody south of the Mason-Dixon line, apparently in the United States, is supposed to be Baptist. They're just names. They're just titles. Listen, we're pro-church. I'm pro-church. Listen, if this place is not the place for you, go. It doesn't matter what the title on the door is, though. Go to a place where you can agree with them. If you're looking for a place to agree with every little thing of your life, you're never going to find a place. But go somewhere where you can say yes, and go somewhere where you can plug in, and go somewhere where you can make a difference. Because I believe that my prayer is that denominations and titles are going to be a thing of the past one of these days. It just is. It's just my prayer. You've got a lot of people out there the attacks are coming in against Christians, period, at crazy rates. And that's fine. The more the church is persecuted, the faster it advances. It's just the way it works. I'm pro-church. The difference there, besides them all starting with different letters, it's very, very little. I don't understand. People say, well, Baptist believes in once saved, always saved. I kind of get that. It says once you're in the hand of God, nothing can snatch you out of his hand. I understand where they're coming from on that. The Catholics, they have these traditions and all. If you've ever been to one, it's kind of a beautiful thing. I think we as a society, we've gotten so far away from traditions that our roots are grounded in. Who knows? Most people don't know their butt from a hole in the ground anymore, and so there's a place for that. The Methodists, I ain't got nothing to say about the Methodists, but I'm just kidding. I got great friends in the Methodist church, good pastors. There's Episcopalian, priest. I'm for it all. I'm for it. I'm for people stop worrying about the labels on the outside of the door and just go outside the door and get more people. Just tell people about Jesus. That's what I'm for. I'm pro-church. Guys, I love you. I got a whole other set of questions I got to answer here in about 30 minutes and stuff. I really do love you. If I haven't answered your question, if you've ever come up to me personally and you've asked me something, I'm not ignoring you if I haven't answered it. I love you. I care about you. I care about your family. I'm pro you and Jesus getting together, getting your life on track. And I'm pro you getting on Jesus, or not getting on Jesus, getting with Jesus enough to where his calling consumes your life. And you have to be obedient to that, and you got to be tough to that. And it's difficult. I understand, but it takes tough people. And I'm pro Jesus coming in and blessing the socks off your family. I'm for all that. Jesus wants more for your life. This is true, but it's sad. A lot of times I want more for your life than you want for yourselves. And a lot of people aren't looking for an answer. They're looking for a Band-Aid when it needs surgery. And how can I just get through this day? Well, your life will flourish and prosper when you first surrender to Jesus Christ. Completely give up and completely count on him. And it will be a process, but you're going to make it through it, and we're here to help. So